Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at Phantom Blade Zero. In case you missed the PlayStation Showcase, this was definitely one of the highlights, at least for me, which most likely means it's going to be a highlight for some of you guys that tend to watch my videos, because we usually tend to align when it comes to the types of games that we like. The gameplay that we saw of this at the showcase actually looked really good, in my opinion, and we're going to be analyzing that gameplay a little bit later in this video, but I wanted to start things off by taking a look at the PlayStation blog post, which appears to be the biggest source of information about this game at this point on the internet, at least anything that I can find. If you find another article or something like that, feel free to link it to me in the comment section of this video. So we're going to start things off when we have here the title Phantom Blade Zero, a new beginning in a long journey. So one of the big things that we obviously want to take a look at is which studio is working on this game, what is their previous body of work, and all of that stuff. So we have here studio founder reveals the origins and inspirations behind this hack and slash RPG, and the studio founder is Soulframe Liang, and he is the founder and CEO of S-Game. So once I saw this, I started looking up, okay, S-Game, what have they worked on before? And the first thing that comes up is actually Phantom Blade Executioners. So we have some gameplay here of this game, which this is a 2D slasher game, and this actually reminds me a little bit of a game that was initially on the Wii. I believe it was called Demon Slayers. No, it was not Demon Slayers, it was Muramasa. Muramasa? I think it was Muramasa. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I played that game, but it's got a neat looking art style. I dig it. You know, I tend to like these types of games, but unfortunately, Phantom Blade Executioners is a mobile game, and it's got all of the trappings of gacha and stuff like that, and as you guys know, I don't really do gacha. I don't really do stuff that can be considered pay to win, which for me, gacha is 1,000,000% pay to win, and I'm not interested in any of that. So due to the business model, this is definitely going to be a game that I'm not interested in, but this shows you kind of like their pedigree in terms of stuff that they've worked on in the past. So, you know, just to kind of give you guys an idea what this studio has done. Now, I'm hoping that this is not like the direction that they want to take Phantom Blade Zero in. I'm hoping Phantom Blade Zero is like a full retail title. So let's go ahead and read up and see what we got here. So we have here, it all started with an indie game that I made myself. So speaking in first person, so I'm assuming it's Soulframe Liang. I made myself with RPG Maker back in 2010. It was named Rainblood Town of Death. The process of making it was an escape from the difficulties and frustrations life threw at me when I was studying architecture, first in Beijing and then in New Haven. Then I returned to China and founded S-Game to make more games. Rainblood grew into a whole franchise and picked up a new name, Phantom Blade. Most of these games were for smartphones, never released outside of China. Still, we've managed to build a fan base of over 20 million. It's a whole lot of people. Now is the time to make the game that we always wanted to make and present it to the world as a new PlayStation 5 game. Allow me to introduce Phantom Blade Zero, the spiritual rebirth of the original Rainblood. It's massively larger and richer, changing engine from RPG Maker to Unreal Engine 5. That's one hell of an upgrade. Holy crap. Soulframe, my man, going from RPG Maker straight to Unreal Engine 5, but has never changed in its core. Kung Fu Punk. Phantom World, the universe that the game is set in, is a universe where many kinds of powers converge. You'll find Chinese kung fu, intricate machines reminiscent of steampunk, arts of the occult, and intriguing stuff that doesn't quite fit into any of these categories. Let me tell you, as someone who watched the whole lot of when I was younger because my dad was into this stuff, I think it was called the Kung Fu Heroes or whatever it was. It was like this really old show, and I remember one of the characters is named Wu Wai Kin. Like that's like the biggest thing that I remember for that. But I've always been somewhat fascinated by Kung Fu because of that series that I used to watch. The way where they go, I don't know. I just dig that. It might just be nostalgia, whatever. So this seems appealing. Also because he says steampunk. You guys know me. I like explosions, gunlands, all that jazz. So he's saying all of the right words to seduce me. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Soulframe over here just straight up seducing me. These screenshots look really good. I mean, the gameplay looked really good. We're going to be analyzing it again in this video. So, yeah. In Phantom Blade Zero, you're Soul. So, Soul is actually the character that you see here, by the way. It's this dude. See right here on the main characters for the S game, Soul. Character's introduction, the youngest Nether envoy in the organization, codenamed Dark Wound, and the chief protagonist of the main story. He is the second son of the Dark Castle of Mo, who keeps fighting against the miserable fate until the end of his life. Ooh, there's even more. Damn. Soul, Dark Raider. So he has like probably... I don't know. It looks like this might be some of his evolutions. This isn't even my final form, something like that. Yeah, so there you go. There's a lot of information on him in case you guys are curious. But anyways, in Phantom Blade Zero, you're Soul, an elite assassin serving an elusive but powerful organization known simply as the Order. He was framed for the murder of the Order's patriarch and gravely injured in the manhunt that ensued. A mystic healer managed to save him from death, but makeshift cure only lasts for 66 days. That's the thing where they say he only has 66 days in the trailer. You must find out the mastermind behind it all before his time runs out against powerful foes and inhuman monstrosities. Have some more screenshots. Obviously, this one's like, oh, dude, my man's got a cannon arm. I'm down for that. From Louis Shah's Wuxia stories to Bruce Lee's movies and Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once and Donnie Yen in John Wick Chapter 4, Kung Fu in pop culture is constantly evolving but always awesome. With Phantom Blade Zero, we are adding a new twist to the formula, a heavy dose of punk spirit alongside with stylish visuals. We call this overall art direction Kung Fu Punk. World building. Phantom Blade Zero unfolds in a semi-open world. We are aware that open world is the buzzword these days, but with limited resources, we would rather present you with multiple maps of reasonable size and handcrafted and populated with diverse activities instead of one huge continuity full of repurposed, reused assets. Thank you. You don't need to make like a super giga open world unless you're going to take the time to actually flesh it out. So a lot of times, a lot of people just be like, it's an open world. And then you're like, this is not something that I want. But, you know, just doing maps is fine. Not every game needs to be an open world. The dark, bleak visual style that you'll see in a lot of the game is a deliberate decision. A bleak world makes characters with hearts of gold really stand out. Plus, it serves as a reminder to never let your guard down. There are plenty of powerful beings that want to see you dead. They're challenging but abundantly rewarding in the form of weapons, armor, artifacts, skills, among other ways to customize or progress your character. These screenshots look pretty sweet. Like, so far, I'm down. I'm down for what he's saying. Authentic Kung Fu moves. We are huge fans of the hack and slash genre. Stellar titles like Devil May Cry or Ninja Gaiden are insanely exhilarating with their huge arsenal of moves and lightning fast pace. However, they are not for everyone. What's more popular today is strategic action game, such as Souls-likes and Monster Hunter. My man just straight up said all the magic words. They choose to slow things down a notch or two, giving players more time for strategic thinking, but that approach doesn't convey the kind of action fest we have in mind, namely the sleek, breathtaking moves in kung fu movies back in the 1990s. Dude, yeah, this is when I was like, bro, the kick, the sword, it's just, yeah, this is legit. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Lucky for us, during the decade making mobile games, we learned to simplify things in favor of touchscreens, giving players a way to execute. Okay, now I'm scared again. Giving players a way to execute elaborate chains of moves with a minimum amount of button mashing. As it turns out, with some tweaks, this mechanism works just as well on controllers. I'll be the judge of that. And we're honored to have Mr. Kenji Tanigaki as our action director. Kenji-san is responsible for many mesmerizing fight scenes in classic kung fu movies. In fact, many of our ideas are inspired by his early works. In Phantom Blade Zero, his role is to demonstrate each designed move, which is then captured with a camera matrix for the reference of our animation artists. You're reading it right. Combat moves in Phantom Blade Zero have to be made with handcrafted animation because motion capturing can't do it justice. Okay. We'll see how that works out. The animation that we saw in the trailer definitely looked good. This is as much as we can disclose at this stage. As we work vigorously on the new PlayStation 5 game, there will be more news down the road. So it looks like it's going to be more of a single-player focused game, which to me, that is exactly what I'm looking for with this title. I'm not really looking for it to be like another gacha, whatever. That doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like their mobile output is their mobile output, and then this is what they wanted to do. I think that there's actually quite a few companies in Asia that like they worked on mobile stuff and then they just wanted to make like an actual AAA game for consoles and PC. Like another example that I have of this, I suspect, at least we'll see when their actually output comes, is Cygames. Cygames also, the guys behind Grand Blue Fantasy, the mobile game, they're also working on Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. So, and there's plenty of more examples like this. So this has me excited. So far, they're saying all the right things. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Now let's actually take a look at the trailer and do a proper analysis, because obviously during the showcase I can't just like be pausing because I have to, you know, I'm expected to watch the whole show. So let me just swap the scene over here. Let's take a look at what we actually have. Trailer, and we're going to be, maybe I'll do a quick watching and then we'll do a pause and analysis.
What's your plan? Knowing you have only 66 days to live.
It runs very smoothly.
Just run away.
Let's just straight up go into 4K.
It won't make any difference at the end of the day. You know better than anyone else that no one could escape.
Everyone wears a mask. You too. This is a real face.
He let you live? What secret did you sell him?
Only a dead person can keep a secret. Going where? This damned place! You're suicidal!
One last toast, and we're all done. Patience is the key, Master. Time is not on his side. All we have to do is wait.
Yes. Let's kill him with time.
Phantom Blade
What's your plan?
0.
Knowing you have only 66 days to live.
Get my heart back.
Get my heart back. Okay, so let's actually take a deeper look into the gameplay itself. I always like rewatching the trailer fresh to kind of just like
What's your
get
plan?
reacquainted before we do a proper analysis.
Knowing you have only
So
66
naturally here they're just showcasing kind of like the world, which like it was described on the PlayStation blog, it is supposed to be bleak so that the characters themselves can kind of contrast it. That's at least what they're talking about, so that characters with good hearts can really shine in an environment like this where everything's like dark and bleak and all of that stuff. You see the character running, and this is one of the first things that people were pointing out whenever the trailer was going on in my chat. People were like, oh my god, it's like a samurai type game. And I was like, no. This is not Japanese, this is Chinese. Because you could instantly tell because of the weapons being used, as well as just the fighting style that the character has, which is more like they say themselves, kung fu style, right? Now, they were talking about semi-open world, so I guess that's kind of like the concept of this level, which if you pay attention, it seems like there's a couple of paths that you can go down, right? So, like, it definitely seems like there would be a path where you'd be able to climb around here, around this section, and that would give you access to an area over there, or you could go forwards and whatnot. So, but it's still going to be individual levels, so to speak. Hey, YouTube, can you keep up, or is this 4K resolution maybe a little bit too much for you, buddy? Come on, let's go.
Just run away.
The main character, Soul. This I have no idea what it is. Potentially maybe like a boss of some kind. I'm not 100% sure. She's got like a cracking mask. There's another character who talks about wearing masks, so maybe this is a mask and this character is hideous underneath that mask. She doesn't blink at all, right? Yeah, it doesn't look like she blinks for the whole duration. So that could just straight up be a mask. Her eyelids also don't move.
It won't make any difference at the end of the day.
Who are these dudes? Like, this feels kind of like strange. This is much more original stuff versus instead of it being more traditional Chinese stuff. Maybe there's some symbology to some of the stuff that he's using, but this feels like a more steampunkish character. Same thing with Homeboy over here with a hole in his chest and a bunch of bolts in his arms.
You know better than anyone else.
The cool thing about this one, as I was watching the trailer right now, this just seems like a dragon type boss, right? But if you actually pay attention, notice how there's actually feet here. So there's actually a person underneath this like you usually have in the Chinese festivals. For those of you that have never seen it like on TV or something, like in Chinese festivals, you'll have like a bunch of people that are basically holding up this structure that you see here that kind of like forms a dragon. And it seems like that's going to be the basis for this particular fight.
That no one could escape.
Then we have these faceless horsemen that are supposedly hunting down the main character, Soul. We have Mask Boy.
Everyone wears a mask. You too. This is a real face.
He let you live? What secret did you sell him?
You can see the red blade, which is also present in that game and another game that dude's done before. This character's always had that red blade. Like, this was the move that really told me instantly. That right there, I was like, okay, Chinese, not Japanese. This move instantly tells you Chinese. I mean, there's more elements, but... Now, when you take into consideration that these animations are not motion captured, and this is actually hand animated, these dudes have some impressive animators to pull stuff like this off. Look at this. Hand animated. That's insane. Okay, that one is the animation of this dude throwing like the spiked ball. That one might need a little bit of a touch up there, but they still got time. We're gonna have wall running, some light platforming, backstabs, and interestingly enough, he uses a different blade for the backstabs. Like, notice how he doesn't use his main blade for a backstab. He's got like almost like a carving knife from Monster Hunter to do backstabs, right? And he puts the knife back in his back. It's the assassin's blade type of thing. And also later in the trailer, he's going to be dual wielding. This is the best boss, straight up, that we've seen so far.
One last toast.
Just picks up a friggin' cannon.
We're all done.
Let's go. Boom. I hope we can get that. This scene looks really cool. Like this whole, I'm hoping that this is not just a cutscene. There's actual gameplay to this. And I don't want like quick time events either. I want actual proper gameplay while you're in this chariot fighting these dudes. Because it looks super cool. This looks more cinematic than necessarily proper gameplay, but I'm hoping there's gameplay there. We'll see. Super fast-paced action. This sword actually looks a little bit different from the first one that he used, and in here we're actually using dual blades. Dude, that boss just straight up parrying everything is legit. Could that one be a finishing move right there? Who knows? But it's like, I'm very optimistic for this one. I'm be real. I'm very optimistic. I think that this one's gonna be good. It looks good. The gameplay looks solid. I like the themes around it. It just feels like it's gonna be fun. The biggest concern that I have is it going to be properly balanced? Is it going to be, you know, challenging gameplay? He mentioned stuff like Souls-likes and Monster Hunter in the PlayStation Blog podcast, which is right on the money for the type of stuff that I would want to see from this. But again, I'm hoping that they don't go down the route of like, oh, let's do 5 different difficulties. And it's like, no, dude. It's probably not going to happen, but I think that is one of the things that I'm hoping that they get right, which is a difficulty. Because I want like one difficulty so that everybody can have like that shared communal experience. I think that'll be the way to go. But we'll see if that's the case or not.
Yes. Let's kill him with time.
This looks like a very important character, but I somehow doubt he'll be the last boss, but we'll see. Let's kill him with time. Phantom Blade Zero. But yeah, that is Phantom Blade Zero. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know if you guys know anything else about the game that I didn't know. Leave it in the comment section down below. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification icon, all of that jazz. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.